I want to start this video off by saying and making it very, very clear so that no one has any room for interpretation. Xbox Games Pass is the best video game subscription service that the industry as a whole has to offer. At least as far as I'm concerned, unless there's some secret one that's like pirated games or something. I don't know. But as far as I'm concerned, the video game industry's subscription gaming services, the best one is Xbox Games Pass. There's no argument about that. There's no qualms you'll get from me when it comes to but Sony's the service is so good and even comparable at times. No, it's not. But I am a Sony fanboy. Let's talk about Xbox Games Pass because it seems like any time the conversation or rhetoric surrounds Xbox Games Pass in online comment sections, forums, Reddit, whatever it might be, whenever that conversation comes up, it teaches me and reminds me and informs me how little people who play video games are informed or educated on how the video game industry or business works. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about how and why Xbox Games Pass is as good as it is, and why Sony's PlayStation Plus subscription service is not as good as Xbox Games Pass. So sit back, relax. If you want to participate in the conversation, please comment below. Subscribe. I am Pillager, Pillager Ascended. I make random videos of video games, video game news, whatever it might be. Like I said, with the really recent release of Oblivion Remastered, I've seen content creators, I've seen people in comment sections talk about, hey, with Oblivion Remastered, it's so cool that we can play it on Games Pass, right? Isn't that so cool? It is so cool. If you have Games Pass, I am envious of you. I'm jealous of you. I am envious of the fact, not that you have an Xbox or that you have Game Pass specifically, but I am envious that you have a subscription service that you are able to subscribe to that offers you a game that is in high demand, that I myself want to play, and you can do it essentially for free, aside from your monthly subscription price. I have PlayStation Plus's monthly subscription service. It is not as good as Game Pass, like I have discussed or brought up already. So let's dive into it. Why? Why is that? Why is it that Xbox is able to say, hey, we're going to buy Bethesda for billions of dollars, and then after we buy them, we're essentially going to give away our games for free. Not give away, but allow them to be played for free, which is when they come out. That's when people want to play them the most. People most likely are going to still have access to Oblivion Remastered months, years down the line as part of, the fact that Microsoft owns Bethesda. Bethesda made the Oblivion Remastered. And if you subscribe to their subscription service, of course, why would you not have access to this game later on down the line? But there's a caveat to that. And that caveat seems to be the thing that gamers just are ignorant to. They don't understand business. They don't understand how anything works. And they sit there scratching their heads, or they sit there, boasting how great Xbox Games Pass is. And while I'm willing to say it is the better subscription service, there's that caveat. Let's talk about the caveat. Let's go to an example like Assassin's Creed Shadows. Assassin's Creed Shadows came out about a month ago now. I made a YouTube video about it this week talking about how bad it was and everything, but that's not the point. How much I hated it. If you liked it, sure, great. I'm glad you have something to play that you find entertaining. I did not find it entertaining. But Assassin's Creed Shadows is announced. It has a launch date, and we don't know months before it releases if it's going to be on Xbox Games Pass, because Xbox or Microsoft, they have to decide if they want it on Games Pass. So here is how it goes, people. Pay attention. Keep up. Xbox or Microsoft, but Xbox is going to go to Ubisoft. They're going to say, hey, Ubisoft, we want your game that is coming out in 3 months. We want it available day one on our subscription service, Xbox Games Pass. What is going to happen is the Ubisoft, as a company, as an organization, the CEO, or I don't know if they have liaisons that work with Games Pass or with third parties, whatever it might be, they're going to say, okay, look, if we're going to let you essentially let people play this game for free, we want to be compensated for that adequately. And Xbox is going to turn and say, okay, great, we're happy to do that. What are your projections in terms of compensation, in terms of sales, revenue? You are going to get through our Microsoft platform, through our Xbox platform, so that we can essentially give that to you ahead of time. And then you'll have the money that you projected you are going to get, and we have the game to give to people. And you might be asking yourself, well, why would Microsoft just give them the money? Well, first of all, it's kind of obvious, right? It's a marketing expense. It's a business expense. They can say, hey, we have all these great games, including Assassin's Creed Shadows, available day one. You don't even have to buy the game. Just buy our subscription service, and you'll have access to this game. Ubisoft says, okay, Xbox, look, we project we are going to sell 1 million copies on the Xbox 360 because of pre-order numbers, because of, whatever it might be. And again, this isn't the exact number. These are estimates because Ubisoft has not released how many copies of Assassin's Creed Shadows have been sold, actually. So they're going to say, look, Microsoft, we estimate we're going to sell 1 million copies, and at $60, $70 a pop, that's going to be $60 to $70 million that we estimate we're going to get from the Microsoft platform of Xbox. So if you want our game available to just have people to play for free and they're not going to buy it from us, well, we want that money from you. We want $60, $70 million right now. And then if you give that to us, we will let you have this game for free. Xbox says, great, that's a great deal. We're part of Microsoft. We have the money. $60 million is nothing. And it's a marketing expense. We spend that $60 million, then we get to turn around and say, hey, gamers in the gaming community, we are able to provide to you the games you want to play the day that they come out through our subscription service. You don't have to buy them. You already subscribe to our subscription service. So come on, play the game for free. So they make that deal. They shake the hands with the Ubisoft guys. They walk out the office. The next day, the Ubisoft guys have a meeting with Sony. Same exact conversation and topic. Sony comes in and says, hey, Microsoft, I want Assassin's Creed Shadows to be available day one on PlayStation. I want people to not have to buy it specifically, but they should be able to have access to the game for air quote free by just subscribing to our subscription service. Here is where you guys tend to just not understand anything. And I don't mean you guys as in everyone watching, I just mean people as a whole. The gaming community as a whole just doesn't understand this. They're going to have the exact same conversation with PlayStation as they did with Microsoft. There's no playing favorites here because there's no favorites when it comes to getting money. The only favorite is how are we going to get more money? The favorite is money. So they're going to have the same conversation with PlayStation. Well, PlayStation, you are the biggest console platform in between Xbox 360 and PlayStation. You have the most units sold. You also have the largest amount of pre-orders that are projected for Assassin's Creed Shadows by about 3 to 4 times what Xbox has. So if you want your system, if you want your console and your platform through its subscription service to have access to our game for free to its player base, well, then we're going to want that money up front. The funny thing is that what Ubisoft is going to want from Sony is going to be 4 or 5 times what they are asking from Microsoft. Why? Again, why? People just don't understand this. It's because they are already projecting that they're going to get more money from PlayStation than they are Xbox as a console. Again, we're not talking about PC, we're talking about consoles. And so if Sony already has, again, Xbox had 1 million pre-orders or projected sales. That means PlayStation is going to have 5 million projected sales. Yes, that is how many more consoles of PlayStation have sold compared to Xbox. And so that leads us to believe that whatever games are being bought, they're being bought 4 to 5 times more than they are on the Xbox platform. So Ubisoft says, great, give us Give us, instead of 60, 70 million, we're going to want, we're going to want 350 million. We're going to want 5 times what Xbox is going to pay us, because we're projected to sell 5 times as many copies. If you give us that money right now, we will give you our game to be played on your platform. Well, not only is $350 million a whole bunch of money compared to what Microsoft was offered in terms of their deal, but Sony also they're not part of Microsoft. Microsoft is a big company, has hundreds of billions of dollars, more than that. Sony does not have as much money. They don't have the capital to just sit there and be like, yeah, we're going to give you a few $100 million to have this game that may or may not be successful available on our platform. And reasonably so. They have decided that expense, that interaction is not worth engaging in. And so they don't want Assassin's Creed Shadows available day one. They don't want their big AAA titles, which are going to give them the most of their money, available day one. Again, for some people, this is kind of obvious. For some people, it has to be explained. And so when Bethesda is identifying what games they want to be available not only on Games Pass, but also available on the PlayStation for PlayStation players to be able to play, like Oblivion Remastered, which I'm playing here on the PlayStation, they make the decision based on money. How are we going to get most of our money? And the fact of the matter is that if they only put the platform on Microsoft, on Xbox 360 or on the Xbox platform, if they only had it on the Xbox platform, they would not actually make money. They know for a fact that in terms of consoles, they are going to get most of their money. They're going to get most of their profit off of selling the game on the PlayStation Store. That is just a fact. That is how it goes. That is what we are looking at here. They are going to lose money if they keep it only on the Xbox subscription service, Xbox Games Pass. They're going to get money if they sell 4 times the amount of copies they would sell. Again, even if there wasn't a Game Pass, if Game Pass did not exist, they would have to sell the copies. And they're not going to sell it. They're going to sell 1/4, 1/5 the amount of copies on Xbox than they are going to sell on PlayStation. The reason that you see Xbox as a whole moving towards multi-platform with a lot of their games is simply because the consoles, when compared, there's not really a competition anymore. PlayStation is blowing Xbox out of the water, despite the fact that Xbox has the better subscription service that is going to save people long term. And then again, we're looking now, and Ghost of Yotai, I turned on my PlayStation this morning, Ghost of Yotai available for pre-order. I looked at the price, $69.99, $70 for the deluxe edition. Microsoft just announced that their games are going to be $80. Again, base games, $80 pretty soon. And people wonder, like, oh, wow, Microsoft, I used to support you, and now I see content creators being like, oh man, it sucks. Why are you following down the path that Nintendo is and increasing your prices? It's because, again, they're not doing it for the same reason Nintendo is, but it's because they're not making profit off of their games. Yes, they make profit off of the PC platform. The PC platform has a huge player base. It's growing day by day. Also, they're planning on investing into the PC. The Xbox's plan this entire time, which is, again, worth making an entire video about, is they want consoles to die. They do not want consoles to be around anymore, because once everyone moves to PC, which is where the trajectory and projections are leading, is that eventually everyone will be on PC. Well, PC is Microsoft, and once that happens, Microsoft will no longer be winning the console war, they'll be winning the bigger war, which is actually just the gaming war. Where are you playing your games? What console or platform are you playing them on? And if it's on a PC, that's essentially Microsoft. Microsoft is getting more money, and then Sony is going to have to turn into no longer a console-making company who sells, their exclusives on the PlayStation. They're going to have to now make their games for Microsoft and for PC. So, look, guys, I know I've already took 15 minutes of your time almost. I'm going to wrap it up. The point of this video, overall, is that the only reason The Xbox Games Pass exists the way that it does is because they're losing the console war. Sony would be able to afford the games to put onto their subscription service if they were losing the console war. And the way that Microsoft is able to make up the money that they would be losing by offering their own exclusive games, or exclusive under Microsoft as in Microsoft owns the developing company, the only way that they're able to actually make that money is to sell the games now on PlayStation. That's why you see Xbox CEO Phil Spencer. That's why you see him talk about all the time, like we want gamers to be able to play their games on any platform. Yeah, it's because their Xbox platform, Xbox again, not PC, but Xbox, which he is the CEO over, he has identified, hey, we can make more money if we sell our games on other platforms because we're the losing platform. See, if PlayStation, who is the winning platform, said, "Hey, we're selling 5 million units," again, these are estimates and just example numbers, but if they're saying, "Hey, the new God of War comes out, we're going to sell 5 million copies on PlayStation," but if we allow it to be added onto Xbox, we can sell 6 million copies. Well, if you're the winning console and you have more things to offer in terms of exclusives, which PlayStation does, let's face it. Yes, in terms of numbers, I think Xbox might actually have more exclusives. But again, those aren't even AAA titles. Those are indie games, offshoot developers that they like. Whatever. That's not even a conversation. Let's be real here. Let's be smart people here and have a real conversation. Sony has the real AAA exclusives that people actually want to play. That's why they're winning the console war. But if they decided to let those games be played on any other platform, then the console war it is now lost. They as a company are going to be getting less money because then people are going to say, "Oh, well, why wouldn't I own an Xbox?" Look, and again, this isn't the main conversation. This isn't the main topic, but it's worth being said. The console wars are not stupid. They are necessary. It's called business and marketing. If Adidas and Nike all of a sudden were like, "Hey, you can now buy Adidas at Nike stores and Nikes at Adidas stores." Again, do I need to go into detail about this? It's not stupid. It's business. It's marketing. It's exclusivity and the importance of exclusivity. So, to finalize, to wrap up the video, Microsoft is losing the console war. That's why they've chosen to put their Microsoft Xbox exclusives on PlayStation platform. It's because they can literally get 4-5 times the amount of money. PlayStation cannot make that choice because then people will buy more Xboxes. It'll balance out, and they don't want balance. They want more people playing PlayStation. Not only that, but PlayStation can't afford to be buying games to be available on their subscription service day one because it would cost them 5 times the amount of money. And honestly, they don't need to make that choice. They don't need to spend that money for them to be successful as a console. But again, PC is probably going to be dominating the market here, and maybe another 15 years from now, we'll circle back to that conversation when it's needed. Guys, PlayStation's a great platform. Xbox, I don't think it's a great platform. I think if you're going to be playing on Xbox, you might as well just switch to PC already. You can spend $800, which is what Xbox consoles are now anyway. You can spend $800, $900, get a pretty strong PC, play games at a pretty good rate, resolution, all that stuff. Guys, I'm not here to sow discontent. I'm not here to cause issues. I do not want problems, always. I'm just trying to have a conversation. I'm trying to observe things how they actually are. I'm trying to inform you guys as to how these business decisions, these gaming decisions that affect the games that we love and play daily are actually playing out, how they actually happen, how those meetings actually look. Not because I'm sitting there, and this isn't a trust me bro moment. Again, this is kind of common sense if you just know how these things happen. But this common sense isn't as common. So that's why I'm sharing with you guys. It is now common. The more you share this video, the more common it is. But again, thank you so much for your time. Took 20 minutes of it. I'm Pillager Ascended. I appreciate you guys. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe. Again, comment because I want to hear your logical, rational conversation in the comments below. Also, if you guys do decide to have a conversation with each other, keep it sane, keep it rational, keep it civil. I appreciate your time. Thanks again. Have a wonderful day.